I rarely see shit this beautiful, dog. Some people looking in might say that AMVs are corny. Don't disrespect the passion these people got in the background making this shit. This is like a vibe, and it means a lot to a lot of people, bro. Like to me. I've grown up watching these shits my whole life. In fact, I'm about to get into that lore in a bit. It wasn't until recently that I've not been watching anything newer when it comes to the medium. In my head, I thought this shit fell off. Then I started doing research. I was foolish.
So now my time is up, your game start. My heart moving past time has no meaning for us, it's not enough.
All it took was watching a few AMVs, and I am now more passionate about this shit than I have ever been. However, I do have my issues, which I will cover deeper in the video, like actual weird shit, like stuff that should not be allowed on YouTube, alright? Let me give you some lore. It all began in the late 2000s. I was in elementary school. For reference, because yes, this is gonna get kind of personal, alright? I'm 19 now. I don't know the demographic of the people watching this, they might be older or younger, but I know if you're my age, you probably have a lot of relatable experiences here I'm about to talk about. I had watched thousands of AMVs before I even picked up or watched anything anime related. But let me talk about how I mentally became aware of this shit in the first place. Obviously, I had to learn what anime was, and that began in the elementary school library. A big ass room, but I remember it clearly. On the front right, a small ass shelf labeled manga. I would say this was around 2nd or 3rd grade, alright? A young ass kid, me and my homies, we would sit around this little shelf and look at the absolutely badass looking characters in the front and flip through those pages, looking at the cool artwork, monsters, all that shit. Now personally, for me, that didn't really lead anywhere. I thought they looked cool, but I still wasn't of age to like process that shit to the degree I was able to later. Now we take a little time skip, a year or so. During that time, a lot of things had changed. I would go to my neighbor's house every day, and they had a copy of Naruto, Clash of Ninja Revolution 2 and 3 on the Wii. Don't go anywhere, I promise this lore is relevant. Those same neighbors accidentally led me to watching a single AMV. A Bleach AMV, Ichigo, the animal I have become. Not Skillet. Skillet comes in a bit later. Let me paint a picture real quick. Even though I knew about, Bleach, Naruto, Dragon Ball Z, I had not watched them. In fact, I knew nothing about them besides the Clash of Ninja Store games I played. I did not know they made cartoons like this. My favorite cartoon at the time was Ben 10. I wholeheartedly thought that was as fucked up as it would get. My parents did a good job of raising me. They did not want me interacting with shit I wasn't supposed to, which completely failed. This was the coolest shit I had ever seen! I remember, clear as day, after I watched this, that my body went through some firmware update or something, bro. I was a changed being. If there was a timeline in my life, it would be birth, time skip, Adventure Quest Worlds, a Bleach AMV, Ichigo, an animal I have become. And that's the furthest date on there. Because I'm still living that shit. I have not progressed as a human since. This was the peak. I think it's obvious what came next. Watching Bleach? Nah, more AMVs. I had honestly probably seen all of Naruto, all of Bleach through AMVs years before I actually watched them. And obviously, I'm not the only one. Go to the comment sections of any of these old AMVs. Your classic monster Bleach AMVs. And like the whole thing are wholesome comments about how this shit basically changed their life. And I can say with hindsight, looking back, that this was an era. Damn, dog. I already know how I'm gonna edit this. And I know copyright about to bend me over. Like, I'm not even gonna try to hide that shit. If you guys appreciate the DPS I'm tanking for the sake of the video, all I can say is share the video with your homies, cause I don't think YouTube about to do me a solid here. Also, do the basics, like sub and shit. I promise I won't be damaging your sub feed or anything. Okay, back to the topic. Chronologically speaking, time has not been so kind to everything about this. This type of music ain't making waves. These shows long been outdated. Damn. Do you know how much people probably clicked off the frame I showed, like Bleach and shit? Like I said earlier, the consensus about this shit is that it's corny. Cringy even. That this shit gets you no hoes, and you'd be roasted on the spot. My reply to this shit is that they just out of pocket. This shit is hard. But I can sort of slightly just see the POV they're barely putting into their heads. Yes, this shit is old. But I say that there's no better time capsule into that period than these old, barely in sync AMVs with Skillet playing in the background. But there's unironically a lot to respect about this. We're gonna broaden up the scope of time a bit here, alright? And loop back around real quick. Just give me a moment. People still be making AMVs on a daily basis. You'd think that such an old format would have fallen off a cliff. That's incorrect. This shit is just as popular as it's ever been. In fact, this shit is wide. I don't think you understand how much was birthed off the back of Linkin Park, Naruto, and Bleach AMVs. Do you think that TikTok edit you saw earlier this morning would exist if people didn't put these shits together? Or even if it's not anime based, you gotta give credit to the classics, because if they didn't exist, we would not be getting all these badass edits we get today. By the way, I'm also saying this with the knowledge that AMVs predate YouTube and this era. People had been mashing VHS tapes and shit to music they've enjoyed for years. But this was the boom. Describing this shit is like describing any other piece of media. There's so much lore you could look back to if you're interested. But that is a topic for someone that ain't me to cover, cause you got me fucked if you think I'm gonna research that shit. By the way, I'm just gonna put everything I talk about in this video under the umbrella of AMVs. I know that there's people who would love to correct me about this, so I'm gonna give this lecture now. This is about to be AMV 101, bro. There's like whole vocab I need to cover here, alright? That crispy ass, cool ass looking Bleach AMV I played earlier as the hook to the video, I'll be technical, that shit isn't an AMV. I know I'm about to look like a dumbass covering this shit, but you gotta bear with me here. AMV simply means anime music video. People who often visit this realm probably know that there's more than just AMVs. There's MEPs, which stand for multi-editor project. And not gonna lie, these are 100 times cooler than default AMVs. Do you know how there's like dance squads and shit where they like tag each other in and then they start like throwing it back and it's super cool and all that? These are like editor squads who come together to make the best AMV they possibly can. Each of them get their own segments, and since they only have like 30 seconds or less that they need to edit, it's as if they're trying to flex all their editing capabilities as hard as humanly physically possible. I feel horrible every time I have to watch one of these, because every time I feel like, damn, how are you not like God or something? These people are overqualified for this plane of existence, bro. Are you guys starting to understand what I meant by passion earlier on in the video, right? Usually, these got like 8 dudes in them, 4 minutes of the best editing you'll ever see in your life, hours of labor from people who are so much better than the viewers themselves that don't need to grace us with their massive, gargantuan editing capabilities. Just for what? 2K views? Less than a quarter pounder. Cause I know no one's made more than $50 on one of these, bro. You guys splitting that 8-way, right? Damn, nah, these dudes probably so humble, they don't even expect the money. They probably want to give it to you, the viewer, so that you can buy yourself something, bro. I'm tearing up right now. The crazy part is, a generic AMV is guaranteed to get more views than any sort of MEP. Because the dumbasses don't know to click on it because they don't know what it means. You should be watching MEPs too. They should have more priority. These low intelligent people out here ruining it for everybody, bro. If one person sees this video and begins actually clicking on these shits, hey, it's a job well done. I'm dapping myself up right now. I hadn't just wasted a month making this. You know how earlier I said the Bleach AMV wasn't actually an AMV? A lot of people love to point out that this is a MAD, which are most commonly associated with AMVs that have their visuals not derived from the anime but the manga. That's not what MAD means at all. MAD, in fact, is just the out-of-English, un-American term for AMV, most commonly used by Japanese people who just happen to be way cooler than us, and coincidentally just happen to be using the manga visuals more often, which is way more of a flex and way more aesthetically pleasing. But even still, that Bleach AMV, fuck it, that Bleach video coincidentally doesn't fall into any category because the Chad made it by redrawing the scenes of the manga and animating the entire thing by himself. Like, damn. Why am I even on Earth at this point? Okay, I need to stop talking about this shit. I just zapped all my confidence out of me. I just got mentally put in my place, bro. Damn. I'm hard as fuck right now. Passion is the word of the day, the theme of the video. All this requires an extraordinary amount of passion. AMVs, even these ancient, raggedy 144p 13 FPS ones, don't spawn out of thin air. You need to make them. I assume people watching are already fans of the art form, and I assume a decent percentage of y'all might be creators yourselves. Let me admit, I did not do the research. I do not know how much has changed and if the meta process for making AMVs has evolved, I'm gonna be talking about the shit from experience of when a 14-year-old me back in 2016 made his own AMVs. Like I said in the beginning, don't disrespect the passion it takes to go through the process of making an AMV. Any one of y'all could be the president or something. I've created a lot of mentally labor intense shit in my lifetime. I made games back in high school. The grind I've put myself through the most and have the most experience in, I know might not look like it, is making videos. I've spent a lot of time making videos, years in fact. But you know what? I at least somewhat enjoy the process. I am never making AMVs again. On my mama. I can't do it. I don't know if you've ever tried to make an AMV, but just to make it clear, it's the most tedious shit you will ever do. I am talking from experience. It doesn't even matter how shitty they are. Even those AMVs that people make 2 hours after episode 1 of a show airs, with the thumbnail being the MC's transformation, that is likely not even gonna happen that season or at all. Anyways, you need to go through some bullshit. The trouble starts the moment, the frame you decide you want to make one. Let's say it's a competent AMV, one that ain't doing anything crazy, like those 2012 edgy ones I've been talking about all video. The dudes first need to find the clips they're going to use. What do you think it takes? It sounds easy, right? It sounds easy. It sounds like it wouldn't take that long. Wait, no, my bad. I'm not just talking about sitting through a whole show just to find clips to use. Looking through hours of episodes just to find the clip you plan to use for less than 3 seconds of your 4.5 minute AMV. No, that wasn't what I'm referring to, silly goose. Just getting the episodes into your computer. That's the first hurdle. You'd think it wouldn't be so hard, right? Just download the episodes. Where? I just want you to keep in mind, we haven't even launched the editing software yet. This is something that, 95% of the people who've made AMVs have had to go through just to make their AMV that is likely to get, less than 20k views at best. So you need to download the episode, which again, I'm not going to count the amount of hours it will take to download multiple episodes of a show, which varies depending on your internet and computer and shit. Like if you had NASA internet and, a supercomputer, it'll only take a couple hours, right? You gotta find a website where you can download the raw, best looking version of a show you can, because maybe in like 2010, they were okay with 480p. It was good enough, right? Yeah, imagine now. Especially if you want to make something on a relatively older series. One life hack real quick though, if anyone's looking at this and still plans to do this themselves, which, please, we need more people like you in this world. This is your time. If a show is dubbed, this saves a lot of time, headaches, and all that shit. Because it's difficult finding raw versions of a show, especially ones in the, 2000s, 2010s. Finding a good quality raw version of that is probably very difficult. Luckily, there's freaks, weirdos, I don't know who the fuck, who actually downloads their shit before watching. Luckily for you, there's a lot higher of a chance that you'd find the 720p version of a dub than the raw version of the same shit. Just letting you know that there's more options, you get me? But yes, you need a website where you can download the raw versions of a show. Unless you want to sit there and screen record everything, which in all honesty might be the safest option. Cause risking your whole computer and hope that some prick didn't just upload a virus to the website for anyone who is specifically there to make an AMV, cause who else would be downloading the raw versions of a show besides them? Again, you don't even got Sony Vegas 2002 open yet, and you spent days trying to get all these pieces together before spending even more time actually editing it together. Again, I'm talking from experience. I've made 3 AMVs in my lifetime. Did this process 3 times. And that shit be on my old computer. I don't even got the files to that anymore. I went through all that effort just to get like 20 views. I made 3 of them. Funny part is, I'm basically doing that shit right now. I gotta be a masochist or something. There ain't no way. I'd have uTorrent installed. The website I used back in the day was nya something. I don't remember the .com part. I doubt it's still up either. I remember the first AMV I made was with the song Hostage by Danger Kids. I remember that clearly because I was inspired by another YouTuber who used that song from one of their AMVs at the time. Lucio AMV's Ardent Sky Chaos Control, an AMV channel that is still kicking it and has made great shit. A lot of nostalgia from that channel specifically. I'll give my flowers to all the good channels later on in the video, alright? So let's say you get to the point where you finally open Sony Vegas. That means 1. You found the episodes or clips that you want to put in the AMV, which if you're making one that includes multiple shows, that probably took a couple days or more. Maybe if you're finding clips as you go, it won't be that bad. But personally, I like having all the puzzle pieces in front of me. So personally, for me back in the day, that shit was annoying. 2. You downloaded it or screen recorded it. Again, I do this shit on the daily as I make gifs for shows I like, but just doing that for a single episode takes like an hour. I can't imagine skimming through multiple episodes in one sitting. This step itself also probably takes days. And 3, you found the song that you want to use. Obviously, this could be in the first step, you get me, but still. Now you can finally open Sony Vegas and start editing that shit together. You can only imagine the fuck shit, willpower, and tutorials that takes. The time to make it look good and match the song, and do that the whole way through. Okay, I'm about to do something meta real quick. I can tell you guys how long it took me to make each video in hours. The first video I made on this channel, the Valkyrie Drive video, took me 2 whole months to make. It was one of my scripted videos. The script alone took like 3 days. The last 5th wasn't scripted because it was originally only supposed to take me 2 weeks to make, and there was a behind on schedule. This was supposed to go up on my old channel. It had like 800 subs. Obviously, by the way, that video isn't on the old channel, it's on this one. YouTube drove by my mans and killed him. That's the reason I'm so pushy about following my Twitter in this channel, because if I was doing that before, I might have been able to, retain a bit of the small success I had at the time. So like sub, follow my Twitter, so that doesn't happen again. Please, thank you. Anyways, not only did the script take long, I'd say the singular video took like 120 to 150 hours to make on editing alone. Screen recording all the clips, all the episodes, matching it up. This was like a production I made myself, right? I still get hella drained just by looking at the thumbnail for this video. And the Yokobu Pandora ones too, which looking back, those probably took even longer when it comes to editing, because I would download the pages from the doujin itself, censor it for YouTube for each and every single one of those pages, which in most cases those pictures were only on screen for a couple seconds. I can't even imagine doing a video like that now. Like, there's no way I went through this tedious of a process, you get me? This video itself is panning out to be like one of those type of videos. I mean, y'all are seeing the finished product. I'm recording this on May 25th, and now y'all can see how long and how much extra shit I had to do to get the video out and how much time that probably took. So know that this took a lot of effort to make. A singular good 4-minute AMV probably takes an equal amount of work to this shit, if not more. But in all honesty though, one thing I can say for certain is that I probably got more of a shot of making it with this shit than someone making an AMV ever could nowadays. I'm saying this to mentally illustrate the point, all the pain, exhaustion, frustration that goes into making one of these shits, right? And the people who make AMVs are freaks, dog. Some weirdo shit, bro. Good AMVs are a work of passion, not anything else. One can like the process of making an AMV. I mean, there are channels who make good AMVs consistently, but in no universe is making an AMV your shot to building a fan base. At least not unless you're a god at what you're doing. But being subbed to a lot of those editing gods who are making shit now, it's not the most fruitful journey. But funnily enough, I'd say it would be more difficult now than it ever would have been back in the day, because back then you had the advantage that whatever art passion project you were making around this shit, it was part of a hardcore niche, one that had not seen pussy yet. A more meta shit, I'm gonna use a third party to make a point. Recently, Giguk made a video called Anime Fandoms in a Nutshell. I got the utmost respect for this man, alright? The man is already in my headcanon established as the GOAT. Usually that man doesn't miss, but nowadays, I don't know what the fuck. Who am I to criticize this man? Well, me and my 17 subscribers. I could be funnier, but this is the type of video that should have been uploaded in 2014. This man making a video called Anime Fandoms in a Nutshell? Bruh, aren't you 30? Who the fuck is an anime fandom? My little ass 8-year-old cousin saw my Demon Slayer volumes, fresh from use, on my shelf. Tells me how her friends have a crush on Tanjiro, proceeds to roast me for liking the series to begin with, and then tells me how people ship Deku and Bakugo. Giguk be acting like it's 2013, bruh. But any normal person, without having even seen any anime related anything, knows about Demon Slayer, can talk about it. We're getting to the point where this is not even like a bitchless activity, dog. We are years past the point of talking about that shit like that. Honestly, It's kind of cringe. People watch what they want. I can have the most intense argument with one dude punching each other through the monitor about, clan ad or some shit, for the next conversation to be about the latest episode of Better Call Saul. We don't need no forums to talk about this shit anymore. But it's like the people who made AMVs before are the exact people Giga is making his videos for. The people who lived in a time where this shit was so under the earth's surface, the only people you were talking to about this were dudes in the forums. And those were the dudes you were making the AMVs for, just to express the love you have of a show, this medium, without getting anything in return. Not what I'm doing right now. This video better get 100k views, at least! You'd show your AMV to your homies, and together you can enjoy the show that y'all care about with each other. Wholesome as fuck. Nowadays, the only good use of AMVs is to hype you up before the gym. That's at least how I see it. But it doesn't matter. Personally, I respect anyone who went through the time and effort to put one of these together. The utter passion this shit takes is immeasurable. We need more of this. Now, it's different. Or at least it feels different. I'm really about to say some Jaden Smith type shit, huh? These shits feel real commercialized. Real tactically made to aim for a specific audience of a show. And not the care and effort from the person making it itself. A lot of the shit that pops up most often in my recommended is the typical AMV for a random ass isekai that's airing this season. One that's only got like 6 episodes out yet, and here I am just thinking that there's no universe this hit you so deeply that you needed to go through the effort of making an AMV about it. There's zero fucking chance. But not only that, there's another issue that plagues this niche. Again, I don't know what to call it. The submission channels. Pause. It's me. I'm currently editing the video and I got to here, and I just want to say, because I kind of go hard into this subject when I literally know nothing about it, dog, all the shit I'm about to spew might just be completely incorrect. I got no clue because I never worked with any submission channels. I got zero fucking clue on how this shit works, alright? If I was smart, I would have gone on my way to ask somebody, I don't think that would be that hard, but I didn't. So honestly, this could all just be incorrect and I'm just shit talking for no reason. If that's the case and there's like a lot of misinformation I'm spreading here, I don't want to like hurt somebody's bag, alright? So if you see this video and I'm talking out my ass here, please let me know. I'll do some magic, bro. I'll cut some shit out. It'll be like none of this ever happened, alright? Last thing I want to do is ruin something that's potentially beneficial for both sides here, alright? Now, if you're the channel that I'm shitting on here, I do not give a fuck. All this shit applies, alright? First of all, why would you ever submit your hard work to another channel? Obviously, I get the idea of wanting to put your hard work in front of more faces, and this seems like the obvious choice. But most people aren't looking that deeply. The dude is literally profiting off your shit. This actually pisses me off, like actually. Not only do I think is that an L itself, but I feel like it would really hinder your ability to create something off of it yourself. I feel like it doesn't really give you much opportunities outside of, some views maybe. If you only plan to make like 1 or 2, that's fine, I guess. But if you somehow like the process and want to make more, I don't think it's the right call. Or maybe it is. Maybe for someone who is just only in there to make AMVs, maybe having access to a bigger platform might be a good thing. Obviously, I don't got the mindset of someone who's been doing that shit. I'm looking at this from the perspective of someone who would want to build an audience out of it. Build something with their name, you get me? So personally, I like the thought of having the shit I made. How am I just realizing this is some like a business type shit? But yeah, I would like my stuff allocated on my channel, so then people would have to go to my channel specifically if they want to see it, you get me? Making an AMV, there's not really a lot you can do with that would make your AMV stick out from the rest. It's not that broad of an art form, I guess. But I definitely don't think that it's a waste of time to at least try to build something off of that either. I feel like there's a lot of cool stuff you could do with that, whether it just is making more AMVs or like doing something slightly different, maybe actual commentary. I know the people who are making this type of shit are in deeper than me and know way more than I do about the topic, alright? There's probably a bunch of fascinating shit you could do with this type of thing. You spend weeks making your AMV. You submit it to one of these random ass channels that uploads like, 2-3 times a day. That better be a good paycheck. The crazy part is that a lot of these look like they actually did take a lot of effort to make, and yet your shit is somewhere else, all up in this shit anyways. One channel that pops up the most often in my recommended is this Toxic channel. By the way, don't get it twisted, this is not the only submission channel. There's also Trash, which off rip is already way better than the Toxic channel I'm about to dig into now. At least with this channel, you're at least getting what you're bargaining for. They look like AMVs. Thankfully, Trash is the bigger channel and has birthed a lot of successful shit. I feel like whole musician's career has started on this channel. And at least the aesthetic here is very consistent. This Toxic channel though, this gotta be the most egregious shit I've seen in my life. Imagine spending all your blood, sweat, tears making this JJK AMV, right? Just for this dude to slap on the most clickbait no borrowed thumbnail this man can find and upload. Like, these thumbnails are criminal. I'm actually knocking the hustle here. I want to mention that the AMV's views are definitely dictated by how raunchy the thumbnail is. By the way, there's a chance you go through this effort and he slaps a mid-ass thumbnail on there. Bruh, if anyone has gone through this, please, I need to know. What was the experience like? Like, there's probably people who are watching this who are subbed to him, right? Bruh, I know you're only subbed because of the thumbnails. Like, there's no way these thumbnails aren't violating a policy. I don't know what kind of protection this man got on. I'm not so against this because it's, these thumbnails are clickbait. I get it. Tried and true formula. But a lot of these are like actually gross. And some should not be allowed on the website. Like, I'm looking at this shit right now. And I'm not gonna show it, but there's a Wonder Egg thumbnail that I'm looking at that I could definitely argue in like a court case that it's vividly depicting something fucked up happening. And it's creepy as fuck to look at. Aha. How did I know? How did I know? This man must have felt a tingle up his spine, bro. Cause when I went back to get more, YouTube screen footage, which I use in every video basically, I noticed that man changed it. I'm not saying it was because of me, but I know that man felt a dark presence looming around the corner. Nah, let me be honest. That's a good thing, alright? That thumbnail was kind of fucked. Man made the right call. Now, just do that shit with the rest of your thumbnails. And the sad part is, behind those thumbnails might be an actually good AMV. Also, again, I'm not like a police officer or anything, but this is also likely riddled with stolen artwork. I can rant about this channel all day. There's a chance I'm just misinformed, alright? I've not done anything here in the most professional way at all, but still, visually from what I see looking down this, it's looking very suspicious here, dog. Again, if this video gets to someone who has gone through these processes of, these submission channels, please, I'd love to know your experience with these, bro. There's like a million of them and they upload like twice a day. So I know there's people out there like giving these dudes their AMVs. I want to know. Anyways, this is the point. This is the shit that is more rampant than the actual people making the actual AMVs about the shit they care about. Of course, I don't know the people making these. And obviously, I'm not saying anyone's a bad person for giving their AMVs to these people, bro. Cause again, some of these AMVs are actually good, but like there's gatekeeping here. I'm not saying that new AMVs aren't necessarily bad. I can get behind a lot of these. Despite all the sad shit I just talked about, I don't want you to get it twisted. I've seen the brightest shit this day and age. This video was made to inform people on this shit. But an even better result would be motivating others to open up their editor of choice and make what they want. Whether you've never made an AMV or you've been making AMVs for the last part of a decade, make more and make it how you want. Do what you think is cool and experiment. Even if you've never edited some shit in your life, you can make fire. Whether it's an edit for TikTok, a full-scale AMV with a rock backdrop, or just huddling together with your homies and making an MEP. Put shit out. I'm getting hyped up and I just made myself relive the nightmare. Even though the video got the generic video essay name, even though I went through, the lore of how AMVs changed my life and shit, and did all that video essay shit, this is like not even a video essay. This is a call to action. Make more AMVs. It's healthy, wholesome, all of the above, and it's something the world can never get enough of. Alright, before I close the video off, let me give some flowers to the artists that I grew up with, watching their videos of course, or artists that are going strong now. First, I gotta give thanks to Lucio AMV. I'm gonna have trouble pronouncing all these basically. I've been using this man's AMVs as the backdrop to the majority of this video. Man made a lot of bangers in the mid 2000s and is still kicking. Never stop doing this shit. You're goated. The reason I pirated Sony Vegas and am making videos now basically. On an extremely similar note, Moog Mooj. Again, this shit's gonna be horrible. Is an AMV channel that was also extremely active in the early 2010s and that mid-range. And even more insane than the one before, this is the channel that single-handedly got me responsible for watching a single show in the first place. If I had not seen Still Worth Fighting For, would have not booted up Fairy Tail, which was the first show I've ever watched, and became addicted and lost all sense of productivity for the rest of my life. But it was worth it. Madness in Me, The Gray, hit so nostalgically. You also made a Tokyo Ghoul AMV, which I'm pretty sure got taken down because I don't see it, which was also one of the pushes I need to attempt to make an AMV for myself. So fuck you for that, and the 7 Deadly Sins and Kill Kill AMV are some of my favorites of all time as well. For MEPs, there's one channel that I found through a submission channel, ironically, Versatile Crew. Hands down, some of the best editing and hardest shit I've seen in this realm. I know y'all have not uploaded in 4 years, but even still, when I had fallen off of watching AMVs, these shits were still crazy to me. I don't know what crack y'all were on while making Junkies, The Explication, absolutely godly. And the ringleader to the crew, I think, Dustman AMV, is still making shit and it's absolutely fire. Impressive, like fire. I'm gonna run out of synonyms to describe these shits, bro. Malva was a great editor. Sad to see he isn't uploading either, but his edits did a number on me personally. If I hadn't seen this One Piece Movie 6 AMV when it first dropped, I would have never found like Frank Ocean, which led me to explore and listen to more music, not just, you know, AMV songs, which was like a majority of my shit beforehand. I can't even imagine having not started listening to music, bro. I probably weigh twice my weight and only play video games and shit like that. It would have been absolutely horrible. One editor I'm shocked I haven't mentioned yet is Inspire Island. Doesn't only make anime shit, but every edit this man puts out is stylish as fuck. Some of the best editing I've laid my eyes upon. If you don't believe me, watch his Naruto AMV or Breaking Bad edit. I didn't even know you can make shit with humans, bro. That's freaky. Now, everyone I've just mentioned, a majority of the XP I got from them was during the mid to late 2010s. That was simply the time I was soaking this shit in the hardest. As of until recently. But the wave I am riding right now when it comes to modern AMVs are the manga based MAD videos, which are so fucking cool. It's unbelievable. And these Japanese dudes are hella cracked. I do not get this shit in the slightest. First, Nanatsuki. This To Your Eternity AMV is hands down my favorite video on YouTube. I love To Your Eternity, one of my favorite mangas of all time. I own the volumes and all that shit. Wait, I gotta pick up my mic while talking about this. Bro, this video brings me to tears every time I watch it. And it's the singular reason I decided to make this video, to express my love for this shit, alright? If you are not living this shit up, you are asleep. Not only is it the To Your Eternity video that's godly, there's also a Kaiju one, another great series, another great AMV, and I don't know how these people do the effects, bro. It's absolutely insane. It's so good looking. I'm about to make a manga and just like make it a scroll down that looks like this. This shit is beautiful. And then there's the Bakemonogatari AMV, which is fire visually and all that, but the song. I set more PRs to this song than I can fucking count. There's a channel called Yuki, which is the artist who made the Bleach AMV I used for the hook of this video. Man has uploaded 4 more since that video aired, and this is the most well-made shit I've seen, and it ain't even close. This man isn't just like masking the panels and making them move a little bit. This shit is fully animated. It's incredible. And lastly, the last person I want to mention is a channel called Alinko, who uploads more consistently than anyone I've mentioned so far, and all of them are fire. Again, at this point, I'm just confused, because there's no way this man's making one of these every like 2 weeks, bro. These shits look gorgeous. I'm gonna figure this out as soon as I'm done with this video. Anyways, everyone I've mentioned, go subscribe. They're goated and deserve all the attention they can get. Okay guys, I'm finally wrapping this shit up. This video was secretly the accumulation of years, and honestly, I think I can keep talking about this shit for more to come. But for my sanity, I'm closing up shop for today. A whole season has started and ended, basically during the whole writing and editing process of this video. If you watched this far, thank you. It means a lot. Subscribe if you haven't. Like, follow me on Twitter. All the basic shit. Alright, see you guys soon. Stay safe. Bye.